Now, as we approach this topic of dissemination, if you look up that word in the dictionary, it has two basic meanings. One is an actual task to scatter seeds widely. And the other one is to promulgate, or to scatter the seed by word of mouth and behavior. And we should live our lives in a way that we can continuously scatter the seeds, participate by using our monies, buying books, and putting them where people can find it. I really think that Bill was right. There really is a lot that we can do to help the angels and the midwares in this project. We really do have to give them something to work with. And for us, we're just playing a long shot. We just put the book out there. Our job is done. When I first became a member of the ISB, it was a new experience for me. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen or how the board operated or anything like that. And when I got to my first meeting, one of the first projects that I had to look at was the Global Dissemination Project. Now, I weigh about, 125 pounds soaking wet on a good day, okay? There's no way that I could tote these books all over the planet. So I'm going to need a lot of help. There's a lot of things that we can do to help with this revelation, help it bring it to the peoples of this world. But there's one thing that we can do, and that is the practice of tithing. I realized after I began tithing my income that everything I did became sacred. I went out, if I had to clean up a mess or build a stained glass window for some rich guy that just was trying to aggrandize himself, it was sacred to me. Because it was directly apportioned to what I made in my living, so that it was what I could afford. If you were to combine all these elements that I'm talking about, if you were to promulgate the teachings in your life and study it, if you were to buy books and put them out into, in your neighborhoods and places where you can find it, hospitals, anywhere people sit and wait and think. What I call this person, this well-rounded person that's able to do this, is a living disseminator. Because now your whole life is encompassed in this practice about tithing, how it's been used on this planet to support the spiritual evolution of the planet. And so I was reading the story about Adam and Eve, and when I got to the story of Cain and Abel, man, it was like something hit me in the side of the head, with the book. I began reading why Cain slew Abel. And this told me how passionate we should be about tithing. And when Abel told Cain that his tithe or offering, because it was vegetable in nature rather than a living creature, he was insulted and incensed so much that he turned on his brother and killed him. Now, I don't think we need to go to blows. We don't need to go that far with our tithing. But it does give you an illustration of when they started doing it and how much it meant to them. And that's how much it should mean to us. This actually has not been ratified by the RC, but I've been told to go ahead and make the announcement. We're asking all local associations to choose and designate a dissemination chairperson. And so your first assignment, whoever does that when you go back, is to get a map of your area. Because we think that the seeding project, the global seeding project, really is the domain of the locals. And so it's up to you guys, and we can facilitate in many ways, but it's up to you guys to put together your own strategic plan for dissemination in the region of the world that is your responsibility. Now, if you think about it, the Urantia Foundation has gone to great lengths. They've worked really hard to get this book distributed in the United States, Europe, various places. But if you think about that, that's only distribution. That is not dissemination. The Urantia Foundation can never afford people going out and doing what you could do. Buying books and seeding them, actually taking them from their distribution point and disseminating them. Buying them from bookstores, online, getting them moving through the system is vitally important. Anyway, if we undertake this, we can work in concert with the foundation. They get it into the bookstore, we get it off the shelf. We get it to where it needs to be, like in a lawyer's office. Let's see, I have no doubt that if we do our part, the angels will make good of it. And right now, you know, you can get the English version of the Urantia book in paperback from Walmart.com for $13.03 a copy. That is pretty cheap. If you begin, you know, activity usually starts more activity. There's going to be a zillion things for you to do. You'll be amazed when you get going. You're going to have to be dealing with the telephone, email, raising funds, shopping, purchasing, planning, building, hauling, sweating, selling, and a whole lot of talking. So if you put yourself in a position, it will happen. The Urantia Foundation has also asked for our help as a group or individually to participate in the primary seeding of Italy. Now, how many people here want to go to Italy? Can I see a show of hands? That have the means to travel and to purchase books. If you can go to a foreign country where it's very difficult sometimes for the Urantia Foundation to set up sales and get the distribution going because of, you know, a lax government or whatever difficulties they face. If you're going to a foreign country and we have a book in that language, don't hesitate to get some books and take them with you. It's much easier for you to get them in. Much easier. You can take them right with you. Another thing that we'd like to do with the Global Seeding Fund is there are many potential associations. Sometimes it's just one person. For instance, we have a gentleman in Malawi, Africa right now. And I really do believe that Robert Moyo is the general article. He is really working hard to disseminate this book and to teach people. He has 2 books right now, and 28 people coming by his house 3 times a week to read the book. Okay? We sent him an additional 10 books to see if we can open up a supply line to see if they get there. And hopefully we're going to continue to send him books because I've done research on some of these foreign countries and they don't have any money, much less a book distribution system. So the only way they're going to get the books is if us and the richer nations will pull together, use vehicles like the Global Seeding Fund, we can gather the money and get the books to where they need to go. I would like to read just a little bit of an email that I got from Brevet. It was in the year 2000. I met with Mr. Norman, who visited the hotel which I was working for. Mr. Norman was an American. He told me more about the Urantia book and the Urantia Foundation. Besides, he gave me the address of the Urantia Foundation so that I could request for the book. You know, I don't know who Mr. Norman is, but he's a living disseminator.
Norman Ingram, probably.
Yes.
Could be, could be. He is acting out the role of being a living disseminator, an international living disseminator. Recently, I sold a home, and I had a pretty good windfall. And because of that, I was able to buy these books that are in these boxes right here to hopefully start a chain reaction with all of you. If I could have the members of the ISB come down, we're going to open up these books, or these boxes, and they're free for you to have. They're all paid for. They're a result of my tithe, so I'm giving them to you to take back to your neighborhoods. So just pass them out. Just pass them out to everybody.
Book anyone has ever given me in over 30 years.
This is called Walking the Talk, and Jimmy did this at the International Conference. He did a study group. There was a book on our seat. We picked him up. He did a great study group, and at the end he said, now those are your books. Go disseminate them. This gentleman walks the talk. Give him a hand.
The book. Here's one. Big extras. And you know, anybody else need a book? The weak indulge in resolutions. The strong act. Life is but a day's work. Do it well. The act is ours. The consequences, God's. Thank you for coming.